What is going on, guys? So as I continue my tour and I'm leaving LA, I'm going to see all of my friends, and I went to see Ivan, you know, the manager at Aston Martin at Galpin. My boy, who, by the way, when we started doing these videos in LA, he started as a salesman. I'm so proud of him because he's a manager now of Aston Martin and also Lotus, so that's pretty damn cool. And he was telling me, man, the new DBXs just came in and they're so sick, and guess what? He loaned me one, and let me tell you guys, holy shit, let me tell you why I'm so excited to show you this car right now. And we have to start out here because my favorite thing about this car is that it's a standalone platform. And I know I just talked to you guys about how amazing it is that VW Group has the same platform for so many cars within their lineup, which is great for a company. But if you really want to feel special, let them build you something that you won't feel unless you get in it. And that's what she said, and that is this car. And other than giving you something unique, let me tell you something. The reason why I love and adore the idea that these guys are doing something like this is because they're also the only one at this price level that did it. Everybody else, I mean, if you think about the Urus, the Bentayga, and the Q8, and also there's a Volkswagen one too, those four share the same chassis. This is a standalone on its own. It's its own pure thing. And that is exactly where everything starts. You can keep everything as is, make it look so much like the car, make it feel so much like the actual sports cars. And man, I think this is the best job anyone has done out there until now. From the beginning, you look at the car, and if you don't have any perspective, you might want to think this could be a DB11 because of that grille. This is just a DB11 grille, but the biggest one that they've ever made. Even the logos. I know they look normal to you right now because it's on such a big car, but those are humongous logos. Those are the biggest logos they've ever put in a car. All of their actual aero intakes are actually functional, which is something I love about this. Number one, right here you guys see around this LED, and inside air goes through so you can cool down your brakes. Also right here next to the 1 of 500, I'll tell you why it's 1 of 500 in a second, there's air that comes here and pushes the car down. Everything is aerodynamics. And then we're gonna go on the back and you're gonna see one of my favorite parts about this, because this is where Aston Martin found their Coca-Cola bottle moment. They were probably, this had to be the hardest thing to design. What back were they were gonna go with? The DBS, the Vantage. There's so many options, a standalone one, and I think the Vantage is the one that won. I actually don't think, I'm 99% sure that's what happened. The lines here are so beautiful. You don't have a big wing, you do have a wing, however, that is split in two and then lets the air go through and then just keep the car down. So all in, this is one of the most gorgeous cars you'll ever see in your life. Oh, those are real exhaust pipes, by the way. There's no fake noise, nothing. What you hear is what you get, baby. This is one of the greatest exercises in car making history ever. And I didn't expect it to come from Aston. Why is it 1 out of 500? Simple. This is one of the first 500 cars that were assembled. If you were one of the first 500 people that bought it, Aston Martin sends you a book signed by some of the people that worked on the car and some other goodies. So that's why it's a 1 out of 500. And Ivan actually specs out every single one of these, and man, he killed it. There's a pink one. I don't even want to tell you guys. This is gorgeous. And I think to really comprehend what we're looking at, we need to talk about Aston Martin for a second. A lot of people don't know this, but Aston Martin has been making cars for over 100 years. That's a feat within itself. That's really impressive. But the thing is, not that many years ago, almost every year, they were about to file for bankruptcy. I'm pretty sure they had a guy at the bankruptcy office in England getting ready to file for bankruptcy at the end of the year, every single year, because they were like, just one fucking hair, one bad decision, one fart that came out at the wrong meeting, and they were gonna be done. Aston Martin for a long time struggled. They made great cars, yeah, but told people didn't fit in them. They made the Rapide, and that was a fiasco. I mean, they've tried a million things and it's never worked. A few years back, Mercedes announced that they wanted to work together with Aston Martin, and Aston Martin announced the same thing. And I thought it was the most brilliant partnership ever. Why? Because Mercedes makes great engines. Aston also makes great engines, but not like the new ones. Mercedes makes great gearboxes. Aston didn't do that. And Mercedes does an incredible infotainment system. Aston didn't do that, and it sucked. And Mercedes came in and fixed that, but they were still struggling. Eventually, Mr. Lawrence Stroll and a group of his very wealthy friends decided, hey guys, do you guys want to do a little car buying? And instead of just buying a car, they went and bought the fucking entire brand. They spruced it up. They're killing it right now with what they're doing, and specifically with allowing Mercedes to come in and really take control on these cars. Specifically when it comes to Mercedes-Benz coming in and really getting their shit inside of these cars, it makes a massive difference from someone who had an original DBS from the Casino Royale movie to the cars that we're seeing today. There is a leap, a world, a galaxy, fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. I know, I'm just saying movie names now. Of difference now. It really is night and day. You can't compare the cars at all. And even better now, Mr. Stroll, I'm sure, and he's doing this because I can tell that he's trying to flip the company, but he also got a Formula One team for Aston Martin. So they've been positioned in a great place. They have a lot of cash. They're not going to file for bankruptcy every single year. They have a lot of models, and this SUV, as a standalone platform and a standalone chassis, is going to be incredible for their future and their sales. I am convinced. I'll tell you why right now. Fuck it. So let's start with all the Mercedes around the Aston Martin and come with me. Let's talk about the heart of the beast, because this is the most Mercedes part in the car, the engine. That's right. So normally, and I'm sure you guys know, Mercedes is providing the engines for these cars, and they're doing V8 twin turbos. They're doing the 4-liter V8 twin turbo engine that they're putting in all of their cars. But, and this is something I'm not entirely sure you guys know, normally Mercedes takes a full year of exclusive on everything that they have, and they also have some restrictions on power. Why? They don't want to develop and create everything and sell all of the stuff to Aston and have them out at the same time and deploy the same performance, technology, and all that stuff. So they're giving everything back a year to Aston Martin. But with this, don't worry about it. That V8, that 4-liter V8 that they put in this twin turbo has 550 horsepower because Mercedes does not have a car that competes in the category, which I absolutely love, and I think it's necessary because this car is quite heavy. It's 2.2 tons. That's quite a lot of weight, and even then with that 550 horsepower engine, that gets the car from 0 to 60 in just 4.5 seconds. And believe it or not, this has a top speed of 181 miles an hour. That's right, and I know what you're thinking. It doesn't get to 200 miles an hour, dude. I am absolutely fucking quitting. I'm never buying that anyways. Send me another picture, please. Say hi to my brother. Anyways, so it's a pretty good package all in. It's an all-wheel drive car, and obviously it's got torque vectoring even when braking, so it's independent for each wheel. But the really cool thing is it can be a little bit more biased towards the front or completely biased towards the back when the power comes in. So you guys can have a rear-wheel drive DBX. Woo! And the make it or break it when you're doing something like this, something that you've never done before, like an SUV out of a car, is you gotta get as much of the essence of the supercar into this. And number one, you immediately see that even the door opening, the door handle is the same as the DB11 in my wife's car. And then the interior, all the buttons, mirrors, I mean, everything looks completely in place. And everything flows perfectly in a sports car. It flows equally as good in here, from the steering wheel to your gauge that you have exactly my car. The same buttons so you can put the car in park, reverse, start your engine, neutral, or drive. Infotainment system, obviously the screen's a little wider. Air vents, identical. Buttons right here, identical. Buttons right here, identical. Obviously the Mercedes system. The feel, the smell, the sound, the everything in this car is Aston Martin. They did not fuck that up. They elevated that. I really do think they elevated this to a whole different level. Wow. The infotainment system from Mercedes is a fucking gem in this car. It's a gem. Everything works identical to in a Mercedes. So if you look down here, you're going to see the mouse pad that you have in the S-Class or in a C-Class on everything. You have the joystick, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it. I have no idea what to call it. Even your volume buttons right here, that's so Mercedes. And then you have the screen, which is great. It's got all the Mercedes infotainment system, which is incredible. But the only bad thing in here, and something that really disappointed me, is It's not a touchscreen. And that makes total sense because Mercedes does not have touchscreens yet. If you're gonna deal with anything, it's gonna be this. This is gonna be the only problem. The only problem is you don't have a touchscreen in the car, but you do have the greatest infotainment system available for your car right now, which is Mercedes. Did I say Mercedes before? I feel like I'm forgetting. One thing I gotta say that I was really terrified of is a mistake that they made with another car they had before. It was called the Aston Martin Rapide, and it was a competitor for the Panamera. It's the four-door sedan car, if you will, right? And the problem with that car is you sat on the back and you couldn't fit. Like, from your leg room, your head room, like there was no fucking room whatsoever. It was just a weird setup, and it added 2 doors. And I was terrified. Maybe they're gonna do the same thing with this. But I have fucking amazing news, guys. I open the door, and all you gotta do is sit here. This is probably one of the easiest cars to get into in the world. And then the space back here is fucking incredible. Literally, you can, you know, do things back here that I wouldn't normally do in a car because I wouldn't fit. Like reading and other stuff. So the interior in the back, the space is fucking incredible. Well done, Aston. And I do feel that you guys are traumatized from what happened to you or you did with the Rapide, because this feels like overcompensating, and I like it. I like it. This is not something I love. This is something funny. What are you gonna put in here? What are you gonna put in? Look at the size of this. Not even my fucking hand fits in there. Not big hands. Like damaging hands. And what can you tell me about a panel roof? We all need this in our lives. It gives the impression that the car is so much bigger, it feels less enclosed, and also, I'm pretty sure it's helping you deal with your problem and your mental scare from what happened with the Rapide and having no space. I like what you guys are doing. You're overdoing it, but I like it. I want to show you many of my favorite different things that I love about this car. Number 1, I love that I'm seeing this right here. It's the same setup that you have on the DB11 right here. Don't ask me why. I love seeing that. I love continuity in cars. Number 2, I don't know if you guys can see, but right here, I have my bag. Yes, my bag, my man purse. And I put it right here. So, rumor has it that Aston Martin was talking to all of their customers, and they wanted them to be happy, which makes all the sense in the world. And they asked them, how can we do anything better? And a lot of women said, you know, there's a lot of times where people break into my car and steal my purse because it's right there. Is there any way you can do something to put it right there in the middle? And they fucking did. They listened to these women, and they're very smart about that. Now, the other thing that you have in there is a full charging pad for a phone as big as mine. That's right. I got the biggest phone you've ever seen. But it's really useful. It works really, really well. The other thing I love is the steering wheel. I don't know why the fuck they're doing the matte buttons or if they're doing the glossy here only because of the spec, but in my car, they're matte. The glossy ones like this are insane. They're beautiful. This looks really classy and great. And here's a little fun fact for you. This is the first car that has some sort of autopilot in it. It has like a more complex version of the cruise control that allows you to take off your hands off the steering wheel and let it drive. But let's face it, this is not a Tesla, so I'm not gonna trust it. Another thing I love is the little glove box button. It's so elegant. It looks like a mouse nipple. So elegant. So this little mouse nipple, really, you just press it a little bit. It feels expensive, and the sound that it makes too, by the way. The glove box is not that big, but you don't really need it to be that big. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what everyone says that doesn't have a big one. Another dumb thing I really liked is the cup holder. Because you can do it independently. You can actually, and this is something that really fucks me up with my DB11, they both have to come in at the same time. Yeah. I know this is really dumb to a lot of you guys, but this is really important to some. It's really important to people like me. Well, what can I tell you about the oh shit handle? Look at it. Look at that. Normally in a car, the oh shit handle is made with like a hard bar, and you know, this looks sophisticated. Makes you look sophisticated and good, so when you go, ah! Yeah, that works. That absolutely works. Another thing I love about this car is the sound, but I think for us to hear it properly, let's go on to the driving part, because that's the good thing. That's a really good thing.
Guys, it goes way beyond just the sound. Like, I'm amazed by the way this drives. So you have different driving modes like in every other car, or like every other modern car, really. But these modes are really good. You have like 6 different modes: individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, you know, all that stuff. But as soon as you put it in Sport Plus, you can feel how the engine just fucking tightens up. You can feel how the gas pedal becomes twitchy as shit along with the engine. You can feel how the steering becomes heavy so that it gives you a better connection with the road on a fucking air suspension, guys. On an air suspension. And the transmission is holding my gears and making the shifts properly. For an Aston Martin, this is, again, let me just repeat myself. This is a fucking standalone platform Aston Martin using Mercedes parts, and it's phenomenal. I got into the Aston Martin website, and the first thing I want to do is I want to know what the car maker's promising me that I'm going to get. And there was not a lot written in there, but there was one thing that caught my eye. They said that they want you to drive this car and think that you're driving a sports car, like your Aston Martin. And guys, you drive the Urus, and you're not like, this is a Performante, you don't, like, it's a different car. You drive the Bentayga, and it's not the same car, it's a different car. It's whatever that chassis is. This is fucking stupidly crazy accurate. This is really close to what the DB11 feels like. This is the purest way of retaining feel for a car, translating it into an SUV that I've ever seen. It's unreal how enjoyable it is to drive. It's really well balanced. It feels really well balanced. It doesn't feel huge. It doesn't feel clunky. It feels responsive, and it feels zippy. That's what my wife says. It feels zippy. The gearbox is incredible. He's got Mercedes gearbox. The shifting is instant. There's no complaint. Whenever you pull the paddle back and you're downshifting, it does it instantly. The upshifting, same thing. The brakes are incredible. The pedals are really well balanced for a car like this. Even with the weight, again, the body roll is not that insane. I am blown away. Also, by the way, all of the visibility that I get from having all these windows, including the panel roof, everywhere, there's something, I don't know what it is, but there's something that allows me and makes me feel like I'm in a fishbowl. And that's a really good thing for when I'm looking out the window of a car and I want to see where I'm going. It feels solid, and then you want it to go, and you can feel how he throws a little bit more of the power to the rear wheels. Guys, what in the fuck is going on? Aston Martin did this with their standalone platform and with a couple of Mercedes parts and engine? That is nuts. That is absolutely nuts. I would have never believed that would be the case. Never in a million years. If you told me this was going to drive the way this drives, I would have never believed you. It's got great acceleration. It's got great balance. It doesn't make me feel like it's an SUV. It does make me feel like I'm driving a sports car and I can be a dick, which can be really bad or really good depending on how you want to look at it and use it. Guys, I'm so fucking blown away by this car. And the fact that it's got an air suspension and that it doesn't bubble, like it feels just like the DB11. It really does. There are buttons in the back so you can make the car go up and down like crazy. And it's still not sacrificing anything here. That makes no sense. How? How did you do this? And I think this is so good, I need to ask my wife, because she drove it. She drove it and she doesn't like fucking anything. She drove the Bentayga and she drove those and told me that that was a Volkswagen. I'm curious to see what she's got to say. You know what? Let's go ask her. Sweetie! Ah!
Sweetie, can I interrupt you?
Sure, will I drink some water?
Before you finish whatever you're supposed to do.
I'm putting away our groceries.
Well,
this is what groceries look like.
I appreciate that. What do you think of the DBX, the Aston Martin SUV?
It was super fun. It was very zippy. I took it on the freeway, and it was really fast. It reminded me a lot of how our Aston, which I don't know which one we have.
The DB11.
Okay. It drives just as smooth.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the red leather interior, obviously.
Yeah.
And I thought the outside was really pretty. Like it's shockingly big inside.
Yeah, right?
Remember when you showed me, I was like, it's so small?
Yeah.
It's not. It's actually...
It's huge.
It's roomy, yeah. And it just drives extremely smooth. It's literally like driving... Which one do we have?
The Aston, the DB11.
The but in an SUV.
So pretty good, huh? Were you surprised by it?
I would say it's, if I had to rate it, a 10 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Thank you,
was really
sweetie.
great.
Car reviews with Sweetie.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I forgot to make one point. This is why I'm holding the GoPro right now, guys. And the point is, yeah, you can take this off-roading too, by the way. You really can. You really can. Will people take it off-roading? Probably not. But you could. And isn't that everything that matters? No?